Free State Education Department is calling for a tougher approach in dealing with the wave of food poisoning in the country. This amid a steady increase in cases in schools. Yesterday, 49 learners from Daluvuyo Primary School in Welkom were treated in hospital after eating snacks as well as sweets allegedly from local spaza shops and vendors at the school. 45 of them have been discharged while 3 remain in hospital. Let's now speak to the Free State Education MEC, Dr. Mamiki Maboya. Dr. Maboya, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us. Can we just get a quick update with regards to the 3 other children who are still in hospital? What do we know with regards to their status?
Thank you very much, Aldrin, and let me also greet your viewers. With regard to the other 3 learners who were still in hospital yesterday, the report that we got this morning, in actual fact, one of my directors went to the hospital this morning, so they are still in hospital, but the situation, their condition has improved significantly. So there are chances that they might be discharged today. Okay, and I even spoke to one of them, and they really attested to the fact that their condition has really improved.
Yeah. Was that one patient able to tell you what happened, what they consumed and what landed them in hospital?
Yes, I think the report that we got from the learners, not necessarily from this one that I spoke to, is that they did indeed eat some snacks and biscuits that they bought from the vendors who are selling outside the premises of the school.
Yeah, and do we know what exactly the brands are of those products that have been consumed? And I believe maybe at this point wouldn't be too clear whether it could be the snacks, whether it could be the biscuits, but those investigations are still underway.
Yes, you are correct. The case was opened with the South African Police Services, and the services of your environmental health practitioners was also enlisted. So they have taken the samples of those snacks and items that were eaten by these learners. So we're still awaiting the report from the investigation that will be conducted, or that is still being conducted.
Do you know whether those snacks and those biscuits have been pulled off the shelves and are not being sold, for instance, this morning?
No, we don't have that information now. What we know is that we are working closely now with the municipality, because remember, it is their jurisdiction to ensure that we really regulate these street vendors, including even your spaza shops. Yep. So we are working closely with them to try to come up with some mechanisms of trying to cap this whole issue of poisonous items that have been sold to our learners and even to the community at large.
How concerned are you about this, MEC? And what do you think needs to happen?
We are deeply concerned about this and also saddened by this incident that obtained in that school. And we are exploring a number, or we have been exploring a number of, mechanisms, and also using different platforms to engage our stakeholders on this matter. Recently, I have been conducting roadshows where I was meeting with different stakeholders, including, of course, the parents, including SGBs, including unions. And I have highlighted the issue of school health and safety, particularly focusing on what is happening countrywide and saying to the stakeholders that we need to work together to ensure that we actually do something to ensure that our learners remain safe and their learning spaces are safeguarded all the time. So this is what we have been doing. We even sent out a media, we did issue a media statement to that effect. That was last week. And even last year in November, a circular was issued to schools about the very same matter. So this is something that we have been talking about, but I think now it is time for us to act. And this is precisely what we are going to do.
What does acting look like? How is it going to be different from the previous interventions?
It has to be different from the previous interventions. We have now to work closely with other stakeholders, including municipalities, to ensure that we really do those monitoring, those checks that will have to be done, so that we ensure that our schools, our premises, or environments remain safe all the time. So we are definitely going to act. Teams will be going out.
That would be a call that you have made last year as well. So it's a similar call that is being made now again. How would that be any different to what has been done previously, and how will we yield any different results?
Yes, what I'm saying is that the other options that we are using, or the other mechanisms, were just by way of raising awareness. So what I'm saying is that now we will be now collaborating with other stakeholders to go out and do the real monitoring of these vendors. Where it is necessary, they will definitely have to be removed from our school premises, or even if they are outside, if they do not comply with the guidelines.
Well, the MEC for Economic Development and Finance in Gauteng, Lebogang Maile, has called on the president to intervene, and he says that there should be a national state of emergency or national state of disaster be declared. Do you think that that could assist? Would that be a call that you'd back?
Definitely, that would be a call that we would also support, because clearly this has become a national disaster now. Yeah, here we are talking about 48 learners from one school. Imagine if this thing was to happen in other schools as well. So we're really going to be in trouble. So we would definitely support that call.
Yeah, and from that intervention that will be coming from national, and a bit earlier on, we did speak to the Minister of Health and touched a bit on this. He said that he's still waiting for the results of some of the samples that had been taken by the NICD. But once that intervention does come from national, what should it look like? What is it that the MEC wants to see on the ground?
What we would want to see is the municipalities, through their bylaws, really enforcing compliance by all these, spaza shops, as well as your informal traders who are selling outside our school premises. We would really want to see enforcement of these laws that are supposed to safeguard the safety of our schools.
What about the manufacturers? Because if you're able to stop it from a manufacturer's level, then it means that you've dealt with the situation. Unless if, as the point that was made by the minister a bit earlier on as well, it is one of the poison that is being used to kill rodents, for instance, halipirim. If that is particularly the case, that intervention at a local level, but also not leaving out the manufacturers.
Of course, it would also be quite helpful to make sure that we look at the whole, ecosystem, not just looking at the vendors, but also looking at it from the supplier point of view. That would definitely assist in that regard. So we should be looking at it holistically so that we can be able to really deal with it in a very sustainable manner.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Truly appreciate that. That is the MEC for Education in the Free State, Dr. Mamiki Maboya. And that conversation also influences the poll that we are running today and what we are asking you this